where reason shakes hands with reality.
America's first competition talk show.
The Hub is engaging.
Talk life.
Good day and welcome to the Hub Internet Show. And all week long on the program we have Heidi, Liz, and Neil. And you can vote on who won the face-off debate yesterday. Was it Heidi? Was it Neil on the program? And I've got to open this up because this story is hysterical. There was a husband and wife duo driving down the highway in Montgomery County just a few weeks back. And they got into an argument. And she was trying to make her point. As is often the case, I guess, in a marriage relationship, and she wanted him to listen. And it was kind of, listen, honey, listen. You're not listening to me. You're here, but you're not here. You're not really in the car. And finally, he decided, all right, I'm not in the car. I might as well not be in the car. So he jumped out of the car in a moving vehicle. And this, I think there's a Toby Keith song that speaks to this, But, honestly, I've got to think, and Liz, Heidi, you can comment on this because I know I'll get blasted for it. But women, this is what you push your man to. Mm-hmm. When you insist on them being listeners and constantly listening. Yeah. I mean, they reach a breaking point where they say, I might just jump in front of moving traffic. And I don't think
jump in front of moving traffic.
But you won't because you're more responsible than that. And that's the thing that men know is that the women in their lives aren't going to do that sort of thing. But I mean, isn't that the case? I mean, we push men to a breaking point where they have no other way out but to just throw themselves at the mercy of moving traffic. And I think, honestly, ladies, can you live with that guilt?
Joel, are you married?
No. This is not a good time to give out the number, all right? So,
can we put it in the chat?
Neil, are you with me?
Oh, I'm with you, bro.
You with me, man?
Man, it makes no sense to argue with a woman.
It really does.
Because, we as men,
makes more sense to jump out of the car.
Yeah. We feel the need to have to make sense. Use logic when we're arguing. And
are you a fixer?
Oh.
You a fixer?
So no, and I don't want to miss that comment though, because you just did indicate that men, as a general rule, are logic oriented. Yes. Women they don't use logic. They don't use logic. Heidi, what do you think?
Well, we do use logic, but we are generally a little more emotional, especially, in a personal relationship. And thankfully, I do not have a husband who allowed me, as a shrew at the beginning of our marriage, to wear the pants. He is a man, and he is not allowed. So I understand. I've had to learn, for the sake of our marriage, which is a wonderful marriage, that men and women are very different. And sometimes we do need to just stop and give them a chance to take a breath and think, and maybe carry on the conversation later when you both calm down a little bit. A lot of times, if there's something that I really need to talk about, if I would just stop and think about it a little longer, maybe pray a little bit, the conversation goes a lot better. So I'm not as much of a woman's lib as some might be.
Okay. Well,
forcing it.
And I mean, I don't. I mean, this guy obviously wasn't emotional. He just jumped out of the car.
Right.
How emotional is that? Give me a break. All right, Saudi Arabia. Speaking of emotion, right now they're raising the emotional level in the judicial system in Saudi Arabia because they've come out with a Middle Eastern version of MTV. There, and they have a program which is basically a reality TV program where several Saudi Arabian youth basically called out the royals over their extravagant lifestyle, their austere living style. And apparently the religion police are really against that because the Saudi royals who basically prop up the Wahabbism that goes on in that region and are in kind of a cabal with the religious establishment there are not to be taken lightly, and they are not to be questioned for the way they choose to live their lives. And so the youth are now on this program. They just thought they were doing a reality TV show, harmless stuff, are now being called into court for violating sharia law, which says that they can't question this in any. And honestly, I have to say, I'm thinking about this and I'm thinking, honestly, they just need to be a little more like American youth. Because, I mean, if it'd be a little less concerned about the extravagance and that kind of thing. If they were American youth, they would have created an MTV show called Cribs and glorified the lifestyle rather than resent it. And so, if you were to be more this way, exactly, we'd all get along a whole lot better. And quite frankly, they would learn to accept extravagance as perfectly natural, as they should.
low hanging pants, sagging.
Exactly.
Visit my crib.
I honestly, are you going to do that on the floor of the house?
Yes, come visit the crib. Come visit the crib.
See, this is called coalition building, and this is why Liz needs to be in Congress. Heidi, what do you think? Is this way too far of a reach, and we just don't understand the culture of Sharia law? And honestly, I think there's a deeper issue here. Is that it's coming into clash with the West, and how would we handle this kind of situation? Because there's more and more of this influence in our country today, as we're reading more and more in the news.
I think that it's just bringing to light the problems, in Islam, and I admire these young people for speaking out, and I just think it's going to help bring to light, maybe the people of this country could wake up and see what's going on in Islam, see the dangers that are inherent in it, and they want to bring that here. They are having an average of 8 children per family, and we are not. And they're just becoming more and more in this country, and they want to impose Sharia law here if they can in any way. And so we need to wake up, and this is maybe helpful in bringing us to that point.
Well, you have an interesting thing going on here. I mean, the youth were criticizing them over their austere lifestyle, and then the judicial system there is using an austere reading of Sharia law to criticize the youth. And I just hate it when both parties try to austere the other party. That just really gets under my skin. Because if it's really about, a long time ago, Americans found the cure for austerity. It's called hedonism. And we do it very well. Neil, I just think, honestly, they're just walking on pins and needles, and I think there's a lot of reform coming, it seems like, in that part of the world. Is this a good thing for the youth to challenge this? Do you think they're getting somewhere over time?
Yeah, why not? I mean, at some point, our founding fathers challenged the rule that they were under. So I saw the show, and it looks like they want to be more westernized. And only thing I could really keep thinking was, man, that's got to suck to live in that kind of nation. And I'm just glad that I live someplace where the founding fathers paid the price so that I could enjoy the freedoms that we have in America.
Yeah, that's powerful. And so often we take that kind of thing for granted.
Yeah.
We really don't understand the value of what we've got.
Well, a lot of people don't, especially if they've never been any place but America. They don't really understand how the rest of the world is living and how fortunate they are.
Well, and this show documented several different youth. Some youth who actually wore metal, heavy metal shirts from the bands that they liked. They turned them inside out whenever they were, going around a mosque or anywhere like that. They had a situation where one guy named Aziz said, "We are not free to live as we like." He said that was an episode he was in where it showed how he was trying to meet with his girlfriend for a date, which he said was a risky endeavor to begin with, because
He may have been underage.
could have been, which would have been, 25? He says, "I feel great solace when I talk to her," which was his first problem, because you should never take solace in a woman if you understand your Sharia law. That's what Allah is for, all right? Get it right. Heidi, what do you think?
Well, I think we need something higher than ourselves, but I just think that this is all, the foundation is one that glorifies men. It's based on, I just think it's based on heresy. It's based on the words came from one man, and whenever you see any kind of religion growing out of one man's words, where they don't have accountability within a group, I think there's a danger there, and this is just a dangerous situation.
Well, and it's also a double standard, because all the time we read about how Christian and people in the faith community in America are demonized for trying to promote their faith in the public sphere. Meanwhile, in Saudi Arabia, they have the Allah Brigade, and the alternative there, they're polar opposites, but there's a lot of disingenuousness in the debate. We'll see you tomorrow on The Hub.
I just wanna live.